Let's go indeed. We're almost into season 3, but first we have to get rid of season 2, guys. Anyway, good evening. It is Monday, which means it's time for Enterprise at 8. This is Live Long and Podcast Star Trek Enterprise Rewatch series. It's been about 20 years.
20 years?
That's right, Trip, since tonight's episode Bounty first aired, but we're just getting started here at Enterprise at 8. I'm Jody Simpson, and with me is my co-host and the man who learned never to cross a Klingon, Adam Woodward.
Hey, Jody. How you doing tonight?
Not too bad. And yourself?
Pretty good. Pretty good for Monday.
What's that?
Pretty good for a Monday night, Enterprise at 8.
Well, it's the only thing I look forward to on Mondays.
Yeah, it's the best part of the day.
To see you guys. Not necessarily the episode, but getting to see you guys. Anyway, and of course, tonight joining us is Live Long and Podcast awesome producer. I don't know why I had trouble saying that, but anyway, awesome producer and the man who states when he's hungry, it's not for food, Dave Mater.
That's right. Don't have a comeback for that one.
You see, I tried to give you something where you couldn't give me a comeback on it.
Yeah, so. No comeback.
So I've been successful. And the man who is currently not present but will be showing up. But I wrote him an intro, so I'm going to put it anyway. Who could forget the man, of course, where Klingons play the same, whether they're dead or alive, Kevin Millard, which isn't here, so we'll just move on. he's here somewhere, though. Yeah. He's coming. He's got computer faults right now. Anyway, guys, as I said, this is tonight's episode, which is Bounty. This is the 50th episode, and in my opinion, the last of the terrible episodes of Enterprise. But I guess we'll have to get all your guys' comments on that and figure out. Dave has already said he didn't find it nearly as annoying as I did, I guess. But
I don't think so. It sounds like I like it more than you, Jody. But
it does sound that way. But we'll see. We'll see how the ratings go, right? Anyway, this episode is about Archer is captured by a Tellarite bounty hunter who plans to hand him over to the Klingons. And a microbe induces the Pon Farr into Paul. She's all horny and cracked up.
Yeah.
And she finds herself confined in the Decon chamber with Dr. Phlox. This is an episode.
Lots going on. I'd say for me, like the A storyline with the Tellarite and Archer, it's much better.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's a good a setup here. I thought it was an interesting, like, showing bounty hunters and stuff like that too. The T'Pol storyline with Phlox, it's interesting. So it's a comedy. I think they were going for a real comedy kind of a vibe in it. I felt like,
yeah, it had a very original series kind of vibe to it. Especially the B storyline with T'Pol there. I got a lot of the what would Kirk do in this situation vibe.
What would
luckily
many other crew members do in that situation?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And there's Kevin. I gave you her bum. Not Kevin's bum, but her bum. But anyway, Kevin has joined us. I did give you an intro, Kevin, but you weren't here for it, so
yeah.
I'm sure it was great though.
I imagine they're always.
It was great. I was here for it. It was funny.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
I like mine better.
You like yours better? Okay, fair enough. Well, I'll share with you later, Kevin, what your intro was.
Okay.
According to Sam, Jody is a Tellarite. So
I do tell people that I'm right quite a lot.
Tellarite.
So I guess that's accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Why are we talking about Kevin's bum? Why not?
That's what I say. Have you seen it? If you haven't seen it, you have no justification to
not talk about
Just
it.
Stop right there.
I mean,
this is now the Kevin's bum
never
show.
Talk about.
Yeah,
Kevin's bum show. That's what this is now. Anyway, now let's get with this episode, guys.
Yeah, well, Kevin, did you like it? Adam too?
I guess we probably should.
We haven't really actually before. We ripped through all this. Like, do you guys like this episode or not?
Go ahead, Kevin.
I kind of did. It was silly, but
very silly.
It was. Yes. I kind of did. Yeah, I liked the Archer stuff. I mean, the T'Pol was funny, but it wasn't really a great Oh, you're missing out, Sam. I'm telling
You
you.
don't know what you're missing, Sam. Anyway,
But yeah, I did like it.
did you really?
Yeah.
I might be the only one by myself on this episode.
I think you are, because I quite liked it as well. And probably for the wrong reasons, but I still liked it.
All right. Well,
Whatever
maybe you guys
reason
can
you liked
convince
it
me.
is the right reason.
Pardon me?
Whatever reason you have is
Yeah,
the right reason.
Is it Assignment Earth good?
Nothing is his assignment good, Earth. Only my butt.
Yeah, I would say this is better than Assignment Earth for sure.
I'm gonna go right now and say that this episode is getting derailed.
All right. But okay,
We're focusing too much on Kevin's bum, even though
All right.
there's good reason to. But
opening shot, the Enterprise, and this Tellarite shuttle that we'll get to know more in the episode. But
again, the effects always look good.
oh yeah,
Yep.
they're coming up from an away mission.
Yes,
we're in their
Away
desert
mission on a
scene.
planet they thought they were the only ones ever to visit.
Yeah. He throws some shade here at Captain Archer, saying, "I'm 10 kilos lighter than you," or something like that. He gives in the dialogue.
Oh yes, yeah, you did, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and then they're like, "Oh, we're being hailed by the Tellarites," and this is the first contact really between humans and Tellarites because they never met each other before, but the Vulcans have met them before.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they, put him up, Hoshi, and we meet what's his name, Sklar.
Sklar, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great actor in this role, Jordan Lund. I thought.
Yeah, I don't know where I know him from, but I recognized his voice once I heard it.
He's mostly known for like stuff like Law and Order, a lot of like TV work and
maybe
different
it was
things
Law
he's
and Order
done.
then.
A lot of episodic stuff, and he's a big stage actor. But this was also the redesign of the Tellarites, like after the original series. This is the first time we've had the makeup redone. Apparently, this was one of Michael Westmore's goals for this show. So
well, and I know that was one of the goals going forward on this show to begin with, was that they wanted to kind of reintroduce some of the characters that kind of got lost in the previous series from the original. So
But it's not a huge departure either. It's a nice transition.
Yeah. Biggest difference is and we'll find out that this Tellarite he has 5 fingers, but as we know from Star Trek Prodigy, that there are Tellarites with 3 fingers, as we saw in Star Trek the original series, and their nightmare hands. And
is this the same thing where like we don't ask them why, kind of like the Klingons and their foreheads?
Well, I think I always just interpreted it was like, some humans have blue eyes, some humans have brown eyes, or whatever, so it's
but if you go original series to later series, you put a Klingon next to each other, I don't think you'd be able to tell it was like
the same species.
Here I think there's a good match.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and the Andorian update, which we talked about in season 1 when that episode first aired, so like this was cool, and like I'm glad that they brought this Tellarite in. But yeah, he kind of sorry.
I like as soon as he starts being all gregarious and friendly, you're like, oh, some shit's up. This is
we already know what's going on here. Yeah,
Tellarites aren't nice.
Yeah, they've never been this nice. What's going on?
Yeah, something's up. He's like, I'll show you all around. I know all the best spots.
I know all the best places. Just let me on your ship. It's fine.
Yeah, he's like, I'll come over, and then like they're just like, oh yeah, they arguing's a sport. They mention here, but they're all cash, and then Buddy he's tall dude, tall Tellarite, just gets him, and then there's a little bit of a fight here between Archer and him, but have
you noticed that 9 times out of 10, Trip's the first one to get shot?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever noticed that? Like, it seems to be a constant thing in this show. Like, Trip always gets nailed first.
Yeah,
he must look the most dangerous.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
But again, with all of the episodes we've seen, they still haven't quite figured out to put a security officer with the captain when he opens the door to a nice new person.
We got one security guard and we got one medical doctor.
Do they even have security officers on this?
They do.
Yes, they do.
Like they're Reed's guys, but like they're a bunch of extras.
They're all over the place.
We
They
can't
just
afford
never
to,
are where they're supposed to be.
we can't
So,
afford
yeah.
those union rates.
That's, I guess the rules get evolved here because sometimes they figure out, you don't put the captain in harm's way or potential of harm's way, and they just do that over and over again in the show.
Yeah. I think Archer is like, recommendations for the future: post security guard and first contacts.
And this
Well,
title card here, this will be the second last time we see the title card as it is right here.
As without the Star Trek Enterprise.
To
Yeah,
be
without
fair
Star Trek on it.
to this show, Kirk was always in danger as well,
Oh, constantly.
right? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what? At least he was like ready for it.
Yeah, but nobody ever
Archer's never
stopped
ready
her.
for it.
Archer he's just hi. Opens the door.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
like,
opens door
"Come
and
on."
shoots you.
It's almost like an episode of like what was that thing where they showed the mansions of all the rich people? Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous. Yeah, and it's almost like welcome to my ship. Come on in.
Well, he was so nice. He was going to show them all around, but they, gullible maybe a little bit, and like, weapons fire down in the deck, in the sea deck, or wherever the heck they were. One of the few times I can remember Reed in the command chair.
Yeah,
Which
he's there sometimes. We've seen him before, but yeah, it's very rare.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's there should be somebody in command. And
I don't know if Reed's your best pick though.
he's the highest ranking
because
on that
Reed's the
bridge.
guy who's like, yeah, let's blow it up.
Well,
Let's just blow it up.
Yeah, you promised me
Well,
explosions.
You would
Yeah.
think they would have security detail all over the goddamn place because Reed is so paranoid of everything.
This
Like,
is why they were able to kidnap Archer, because he was too busy
Yeah,
in
'cause
command.
Reed's
Um,
like,
busy.
do I look sexy in this chair, Hoshi?
Yeah.
Do
how
I?
How
Where's
about
the
my
ball?
bum?
Where's the ball?
Yeah, where's the ball?
Her bum goes to this chair. And sometimes anyway, and then I like how he shoots the nacelle, and he it was cool, like plan that this Tellarite like unveiled with his little shuttle, very crafty, I thought, and they still had all these away teams up on the surface, and they're like, oh, we have to bring everybody up before we can like even chase after the captain, I guess.
Yeah, they're still not fans of those transporters. They're like, nope, we're still doing the shuttles.
Yeah. I feel like they could have like gone for the chase and left people on the planet. It would have been okay. But they don't anyway. So they bring everyone up, and T'Pol is one of them, but T'Pol and Phlox, yeah, as you mentioned, Jody, are contaminated,
Mm-hmm.
so they got to go into Decon and get naked.
And then T'Pol gets the space madness,
Yes, well,
the sexy space madness.
We'll come back to that in a minute, but over the cell here on the Tellarite ship we get, and I like the force field with the yellow.
Yeah, the force field is kind of
cross.
That is neat. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, that hurt.
And they're actually like glow rods or something there, because the way that they cast the light on his hands and stuff when they're when they're close,
Yeah.
like they're totally there.
They're not CGI, or like not entirely CGI.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they've been enhanced somehow, but yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, he's like, I wouldn't do that. I just installed them a week ago, and he tries to talk to him. And we have Roxanne Dawson again, Belana Torres herself, directing this one. But yeah, he's like, I can just like stun you and make you unconscious. Would you prefer that? And he's like, I'll shut up. So they're like we're toggling between these two storylines quite a bit throughout the episode, but this is the first where they're explaining that he got the microbe was because he picked up some marsupial.
Don't touch the animals.
Don't touch the animals.
It should be like 101 for him though.
But
Like
he needed its saliva.
For anticoagulants or something. He's like such a naturopath, this guy, that he has to.
he really is though, and that's one thing I do like about him.
Or he works for Big Pharma,
Yeah, he's like, I will find the new thing and then sell it.
Right. Yeah. So he and explain to that this microbe or this thing is even more harmful to humans than it is to Vulcans and Denoblians. So they can't leave, but they installed the curtain here, which we find out later on that Denoblian males are a bit modest guys. They don't like even. They're all about getting down with multiple partners, but they're
yeah, but they don't like to be seen.
Yeah.
Turn the lights off.
Lights off, please.
Yeah.
He's one of those
Exactly.
assholes that keeps his socks on too, probably.
Oh yeah, I imagine. Well, especially with those feet.
Yeah. Well, you would want to with his.
Might be a
feet, yeah.
safety thing, really.
Yeah, actually could be. He's got like nails that are huge.
Yeah, but we're getting all like these like let's watch them rub each other with gels.
No,
all
Rebby.
sexily.
Yeah, it was. Oh god.
This is this is the UPN quality content right here.
Yeah, well, it's quite juxtaposed with her versus him, you know. Although I did like the makeup on like the upper body that they put on him with the
In his back.
Denoblian-
His back looks
his
pretty
back,
cool. Yeah.
But again, it was. I think there was a little bit of comedy relief here. You know, showing her. You know,
Yeah, she's all sexy, and then there's this guy who looks like he's been drinking like a 12-pack a day, and
slapping it on.
He's not like
he's frosting himself like a cake.
yeah, he's not a ripped or anything. He's no Archer, I guess.
You see, now this is the reason why I like talking to you guys, because when I watch this, I'm like, this is lame. But now that you've shown me that this is more like a comic relief type thing, this makes more sense now.
Well, yeah, you know something.
Maybe I'm being a little hard on this.
Just like with the friendly Tellarite earlier on, like T'Pol starts rubbing his back with the goo, and then she's like, "Oh, this is a sexy looking Denoblian back or something."
Well, this is where we get the first, understanding there's something wrong with her, because that look right there.
Yeah, because she's like, she's looking at him like a piece of meat.
Yeah, and she doesn't eat meat, but she'll make exceptions.
She's not gonna.
And then he won't even look at her.
Yeah.
He won't even look at her when he's rubbing her. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
And this is all while the captain has been like captured, right? And there's like,
well, there's nothing else they can do, Dave.
There's nothing they can do.
What are they
but,
gonna do?
Nothing. But
here's what I love about this episode, though. Trip is in charge. It's the first episode that shows that the humans can handle their own problems.
True. Good
True.
point.
Without T'Pol.
Yeah.
They're entirely in command. There's
no logic from T'Pol. There's no guidance.
Yeah.
You guys are idiots.
Not even from Phlox.
Not from Phlox either. You know, they don't. They're on the hunt here. That Archer kind of solves it. Yeah, you took the two aliens out of the mix and you just made them like sort of have to rub each other with goo and whatever. So worked out.
It's even better when you explain it like that.
This next scene is where I think Sklar, the Tellarite, is calling up the Klingons he's intending to sell Archer to, and this is kind of meet me here in 2 days, because he mentions Kronos, and
this is when Archer goes, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble."
Yeah, he's like, "Wait a second, Klingons, that rings a bell." Oh yeah,
yeah. He's like, "Yeah,
I've got a price on my head." Oh my god.
Wait a second, they're still pissed off about that prison escape thing?
Yeah. I like that they brought this plot line back. Because I think it would have been too easy if he just like walked out of Rurapente with Malcolm like he did and nothing ever came of it.
Yeah. So obviously this entire time since that episode, they've been looking for him. Yeah. So now there's a bounty on him.
How many episodes ago was that? I just want to remind myself.
Probably 7-ish, maybe.
Yeah,
back
in 6 or 7.
It
was back episode 19, so this is 25. So yeah. Anyway, so they're looking around and they find that this false buoy, like a false warp signature. So like the Tellarite even thought, oh yeah, they're gonna follow us, and then they're gonna follow you to this fake breadcrumb thing I left for you.
And who knew the Tellarites were this smart?
It's putting out a fake warp signature, and they're like, so what? We got to go back to the beginning and look again. You know, he's like, you destroy that thing right now. You know, he's like, gladly, sir.
Yeah, he's like, just shoot it. We got to be mad about something.
Yeah, just blow it up. Gladly, sir. You know, this is where he's making some kind of Tellarite food here. What would that be? I probably would ask Jankum Pog from Star Trek Prodigy. Where's
blood truffle biscuits, sweet radish pie, and don't skimp on the sour gravy.
Sour gravy.
Sour gravy sounds intriguing.
Yeah, sour gravy, and
actually, I'm interested in sour gravy.
Blood truffle biscuits. So
no. I have English in my family. We already eat that kind of crap.
So he's like, He's telling him about Ruapente, and I think this is one of the first conversations where Archer's getting through to him a little bit as a person, because this guy is not necessarily a bad guy, but he's made some.
No, he's just a guy doing his job, basically.
No, yes, he's done some bad choices, and now he wants his old ship back, and he thinks this is the only way for him to get there.
Yeah. The Klingons took his ship because he tried to take a shortcut through Klingon space. Big mistake. And then they took his ship. His brother is all mad at him. Well, I don't know if we see his brother yet, but that he became a bounty hunter to buy his ship back. And then he finds out later on that the ship's gone. He can't buy it back. But anyway, good scenes though. Good scenes between those two. I liked them. I thought they were well written. And I think this is where Phlox starts to figure out that there's something up with T'Pol. You're making it hard to meditate.
Well, Phlox is such a ladies' man, right? He probably didn't even think twice about it. He's like, hey, the amount of women I get.
Casanova. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not bats or marsupials. She's not that interesting.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, she tries to break out. She tries to leave the decon chamber, and he's like, nope, he locks it. And so, she tries to give orders.
I thought she gave up a little easy here, honestly.
Yeah,
she did at the beginning, yeah, and then later on, she's like,
"Well, I'm just saying in this scene, fine, I'll go back to my room."
Yeah, well, we could die. Yeah, he knows there's something up with her, but he doesn't really know what to do about it. Back to the Tellarite shuttle, and this is where he's talking to his brother. Yeah, his brother's like, "You suck."
That's pretty much the summary.
Yeah, and do you like I like taking on these scum like him? Or I think he says it later on in the episode, but calls Archer scum or something. Do you like I like doing this? Anyway, hangs up on him.
There's definitely I hate to say it, but a Han Solo crossover here. Somebody who's
yeah, I can see that for sure. He's just trying to make a buck. He's a bit of a rogue, and then he's
gets in trouble with the Klingons. Gets in trouble with
other bounty hunters, which is
bounty hunters.
Yeah, this other bounty hunter is coming after him. I liked this design, this makeup design.
Very cool. Yeah, I like this.
He really reminds me of one of the guys from like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe movie from the 80s.
Yes, absolutely.
Like it's really reminiscent of that, which also had Robert Duncan McNeil, Tom Paris. But yeah, like I love this design.
I forgot he was in that. Yeah,
he also looks like a Discovery era Klingon.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, in a way, yeah.
Very, very different. He's another bounty hunter, and he's like, he's like, I want Archer, and he's like, you better hold on. He's about to attack. And there's a little bit of a firefight goes between them here. And Archer makes this appeal to, let me help you. I'm a pilot. You can't repair the ship and do the two things at once. You can't walk and chew bubblegum. And so he kind of eventually agrees to let Archer help get through the situation. So he's like, you try anything, I'm going to shoot you. And so he throws him in there, gives him a crash course in Tellarite helm control. And they start going here. But he's like, yeah, let's jump out of warp. We'll try to like hide in this L-class planet. I think they said it was.
Yep.
And he's like, we're more maneuverable in there. Good maneuver. Good call here. He's like, what are the, we see the things that earlier that Malcolm and Trip had blown up, the false sensors. So he's able to use these as he's like, if we deploy these in the atmosphere, he won't, we'll give him 1 in 3 chance of following us. So they drop the other 2 and they go the third way, and he ends up the other bounty hunter follows the one to the far right, and then they're able to sneak up behind and attack with their cannons. It's a nice little moment for them, I guess. And so
yeah, but Archer is clearly being trained in making friends with the kidnapper, I guess is
he's almost
he's been kidnapped so many times.
Yeah, talk to them, do something for them.
I think there's gonna be more to come too. It's like this is not the first time he'll be abducted at all, or last time he'll be abducted in the show.
It's classic Trek, right? Like I mean, not just the captain, but
season 3, not really, but season 4 there is. Yes.
Yeah. And back to the other storyline, Phlox and T'Pol, where she's like, "You totally gotta bang me. So, he's like, well,
my
this,
God.
Listen, you chubby bastard. We're doing this.
yeah. She's like, come on. And he was like, well,
He's like, my 8 wives won't agree with this.
yeah. She's like, I know all about you Denoblians.
This scene, I was like, Phlox, just do it, man.
Yeah. You know what? Take one for the team, Phlox.
Well, you know what would happen if Malcolm was in there?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we saw a little bit of that later on in the episode, right?
Yeah, but he was in a suit. If he wasn't in one of those suits, forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he stopped himself, quite honestly.
Yeah, they were just like I thought for a few of these scenes, like Jolene Blaylock was going to just burst out laughing. Like she was going to be able to.
Oh yeah, there was
composure.
definitely
was
some corniness
fantastic.
going on here.
Like, just
Yeah, they're like just be like completely throw yourself at them.
yeah.
Remember all the women in the original series? Be like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and John Billingsley has to be like, no, it wouldn't be ethical or all these things, right? But she eventually comes. She explains the Pon Farr, which she says she's never experienced before. This is the part of the episode I probably take the most
Yeah, 'cause
issue
it's
with.
every 9 years, isn't it?
7 years.
7 years.
We've already established she's in her 60s. So how can this be the first time she's gone through Pon Farr? Like that's
Well,
that-
maybe
that-
it's
bloomer.
like a puberty thing, though. Maybe it
Late
only
bloomer.
starts.
late bloomer. I guess that's
It might only ever start. It might start
Well,
at 50 or something.
Vulcans say they don't lie, but that is a lie. So
Yeah.
Vulcans
But we
lie.
also know that they do lie a lot.
true.
Like, if anything, this show has shown us that they lie a lot. Like, even this episode, there's a lot of lying going on.
Well, that's true. I would agree with that.
And actually, in the next episode, definitely there's some lying from the Vulcans. For sure.
Do you realize you picked up a slight human accent?
Oh yeah. All right. And I knew I had the other one. Where's my your thing will only here it is. Punitive.
You know your rebellions will only lead to punitive spiritualism.
I love it. Anyway, so okay, so they were fixing the shuttle here. They had to land because they had to access the reactor on the outside. But this looked like a moon. This looked like our moon, Earth's moon.
You're not going outside.
But it must have an atmosphere, so it's just an
It's
odd,
too small.
strange looking planet. Yeah, but he's being all friendly with them. He's like, yeah, well, my ship could do this and it did that. He's talking about all the good times, meanwhile Archer's just frying the engine with the laser thing. He's like, ha ha ha, and, he's like, oh yeah, keep going, as the smoke's like kind of forming around him here. And eventually he notices. He's like, what are you doing? Throws him to the ground. He's like, did you really think I was going to help you fix the ship?
Are you stupid?
You
You're
were trying
bringing
to
me to my death.
You
Yeah.
bring me to death, and he's like,
I'm going to delay as much as I can. Yeah.
yeah. He's like,
And
well,
I think Archer knows that this guy's not going to just kill him,
yeah.
right?
He's,
Well, he
he's
needs
worth
money.
too much.
Yeah. He
Well, he says he's worth the same thing, dead or alive, but he can
But
tell
not
that he's
just
not.
that. Like, I think he sees that this Tellarite isn't necessarily a bad guy. Like, he's not. He would have moral issue with just killing Archer in cold blood.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill him in self-defense or whatever, or is one thing, but or if he had to, yeah. But he's so Archer definitely staring him right in the face and making this drawn out. That's his tactic. Back to this with Paul, where he's trying to make some kind of antidote for her, and she's like, we can't wait for that anymore. We have to do it.
She's like, you already have the antidote, and it is unethical for you to not administer it. Like,
Yeah, especially with Denobly medical ethics.
Yes.
So he's like, listen, it's all good. We don't need to go there. And she's just like,
You're
going,
holding back. Oh, look at his shrug. Don't touch me.
yeah, just like great body language, great how this scene's going. He went,
they're both
Yeah.
so great in this.
yeah, he's just like, we need to get some food or something down here. where he goes to get the meals. Trip brings down like room service for them.
Of course, Trip. You know, they don't have a crewman or a yeoman
Yeah,
for this.
the guy who's in command, you know,
The
right
acting
now.
captain. Yeah.
Yeah, got to deliver
Exactly.
lunch, but you know, it's just
Even Hoshi could do this.
yeah, but no, they're like, no, we can't give her any more lines, so we have to we just got to do this. So yeah, gets the food, and then like she grabs the plate here, and she just starts eating it with her hand, which I think is hilarious. Well, just some of the looks she has,
Yeah.
you know.
Feral, just feral.
Yeah, that's what she's.
That's
just
a
going
good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
After
she's-
saying, I mean, again, this is important because, you know, remember the first season early on, she goes, "We don't eat with our hands." You know,
right.
Yeah, but we
Vulcans
saw
can't
her.
eat
We
with
saw
their hands.
her a bunch of episodes back where she was eating with her hands. So she's adapting.
Yeah, and she's just like, but she's also like looking at Trip very hungrily. She's like, "I'm hungry for sex." I think she said that at one point in the
Oh, yeah.
episode.
not
I'm
for
hungry. Food's
Funny
coming.
enough, this
It's
is a
not
little
what
bit
I
of
mean.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, well, she's a little under the weather, you know. So
She's a bit randy.
yeah, he's like, he's like, you know, and you know, I think Phlox is starting to realize at this point in the episode he's in over his head maybe a little bit, or he might not be able to deal with this, but he's trying his best. And then they finally get to the planet where they fought the bounty hunter. And they find this bounty hunter, and he's like, you know, he thinks they're also bounty hunters.
He almost looks like Vigo the Carpathian
yeah, he is Vigo.
in the evil form, like
Do you
when
want
he's
to
like
be the
super
ruler of the
evil
world?
at the
Yeah,
near the end
at
of
the
the
when he's
movie.
like the big head in the painting. At the end.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
he almost looks like that.
Doesn't that sound nice?
Doesn't that sound nice?
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Well, guess what? Like, he kind of explains, like, yeah, there's a bounty.
Scourge of Carpathia.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Only a Carpathian would come back now and choose New York. But it could be in beautiful San Fernando Valley. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so they're looking for the Tellarite ship, and I think that this is where they cut over to this station. We see a Vulcan ship docked here.
Yes.
At one point, I don't know if we ever get this station named or if it comes back in the show, but it's a really cool looking space station.
Reminiscent of Deep Space Nine.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know if we
Actually, let me look. Maybe it tells us.
maybe we'll come up in the fun facts and everything.
We're
but-
in what, like the third act at this point, probably.
I think so. Yeah, but this is where, you know, he finds his brother who we saw earlier, and he explains, like, you know, his brother's like, "You're a dick. What are you doing here? Why'd you bring the human?" And this is where he explains, "I need a warp injector," and he tells him back, like, you know, they destroyed our ship. You know, they sold it for parts. I'll give you the injector, but you got to like leave me alone forever. So. But you know, Sklar's he's like, "You're gonna come back and be my first officer, and we're gonna like get the ship back." And you know, he's like, "No, it's not gonna happen," you know. So a bit of an emotional scene, and you know, he walks away. Oh, this is before that. Like, you suck. Get out of my life. Say never. Anyway,
It's not even mentioned in Memory Alpha.
what that place
That
was,
space station, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you know, he's like, "I can't let you go because the Klingons will kill me." And then I think Archer eventually comes up to him like with a plan. He's like, "Well, maybe not. You know, maybe we can both have what we want here." So come back to that later. Meanwhile, Phlox seemingly, I thought he was sitting on a toilet for a second, but he's actually just squatting down.
That's actually looks like that.
There's got to
Yeah.
be one in there though. There's got to be something for them to go.
It gotta be
In there,
right?
lunch.
It's probably where the camera is.
Yeah, probably must be. Yeah. You know, and he's like, "I almost got this antidote ready to go." And she's like, "No, I don't want your antidote. It's too hot. Just bang me already. Come on." You know, and he's like, "Come on, just give it a shot. Just take the medicine." And she doesn't want to take the medicine.
Now she's
he's-
getting angry.
I like how he's like, he's like, "Okay, well, here's the lock code. Denoblian medical ethics prevent me from treating you without your consent." So, but it's all a ruse. He didn't mean it.
Well, it's a lock code. It's just the wrong one.
she's trying to get the lock code, and then he tries to inject her, and then she like basically throws him across the room.
So Phlox, not sneaky. Like
No.
he's
No.
not he's a doctor. He's not special ops, that's for sure.
No, he's not. Yeah, and then she looks down at him and she's like, well, I can't have sex with an unconscious guy, probably. So I'm gonna get out of here, So she starts I think she rips off this thing off the wall. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's digging. Look at that.
Oh, I found it, guys.
What is it?
All right. So the Tellarite station visited by the bounty hunters Scalar and Archer was a reuse of the Cardassian repair facility CGI model from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, but it's not actually named. But it was seen in Deep Space Nine.
But it's meant to be a Tellarite station?
It is meant to be a Tellarite station, yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I like the basic profile of it does look like a Cardassian thing, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now that you've said that. Anyway, so she gets out and she's on the deck, and then Phlox gets up and says, "You better evacuate the deck because, of course, they're contaminated with these microbes still." And they have to start looking for her in the environmental suits, which was a nice touch, I thought. Get the extras into them. The two security guards who they could have posted earlier at the doors.
Yeah, they could have stopped this entire thing.
Yeah, were they busy?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably
What
trying
it
to figure
is,
out how to.
Archer just doesn't want to lose anybody. The security
Except
guys
himself.
always die.
Only himself.
It's like we only have 2 security guards.
Well, that brings
yeah,
a good point up, Dave. Don't you think that Dr. Phlox had a responsibility to tell Trip what was going on? Because now we have a security problem.
Well, yeah, he has to try to keep his medical confidentiality there, but so he's like, well, she's delirious, and she is dangerous in the sense that she has the microbes, and she'll try to probably.
Well, she's a Vulcan and has more strength than they do.
She has 3 times the strength of humans as well, so there's also that. But she's coming after Malcolm, Stinky.
That's bum.
Yeah, he resists her wiles here, guys.
Only
She's like,
because he's in that suit.
Yeah, you know how long it takes to get that suit off, Dave? That ain't a quick process.
There's a look saying, okay, there's my one and only chance.
He's
I'll
like,
shoot you.
seriously, you had to do this the day that I'm in a suit that takes 10 minutes to get off?
She's like, you suck. I love how this look she gives as she runs away. It's hilarious.
It's very weird.
Yeah, it's just like her running down the hall in her underwear.
Yeah, she's a good runner.
Yeah.
Some people look stupid when they run. She's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's
She's
a joke
going
there, but I'm not going to take it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was just like anyway. So she's just like, "You suck, all of you." But she gets like cornered here by the group, and she just does this battle cry, and they're just like, "Okay, well, we'll just shoot you."
So, this is in what the 22nd century, realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the 22nd century, tranquilizer guns are just not a thing anymore, eh? Like you can't just dart this girl and knock her out in the middle of the corridor.
I guess we have
stun setting,
but isn't it stun? It's neater.
It's and less chemical.
It's like a big taser.
Yeah.
But why did it take this long?
I don't know.
You'd think they would have some sort of thing in the decon just in case somebody goes a little nutty in there.
Well, at one point, Phlox suggests like a sedative to her, and she doesn't. She rejects it, but maybe it would have been a good idea.
Yeah, but there should be a locker or something that he can open, and there's like a trank dart gun in there or something. Like bloody zoos have these things. Why don't they have them?
Yeah, I don't know. She wasn't prepared for that situation.
I guess.
Anyway, and then this is where the Tellarite shuttle meets up with the Klingon ship. This Klingon ship, very different design itself.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever.
But didn't you get the impression this is not a military ship? I mean, these guys are civilians.
This
guess,
could easily be just a stolen ship too. Like, there's nothing saying this is actually.
You're right. They don't wear the armor. They don't.
They don't have the armor or nothing.
I don't think this is sanctioned by the government of the Klingons. I think this is
I think these are like a rogue faction that happens to talk back with the government at one point.
Or Klingon bounty hunters who are buying off another bounty hunter.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
they're the metal men.
And was it 9,000 whatever's the currency that he's paid, and they only give him half or 6,000.
Yeah, he's supposed to get 9,000 and he only gets 6,000.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing that kind of turns him into helping Archer in a way, though. I think.
No, I think
But
yeah.
He already agreed.
Like
to
he
it.
was already pretty much on the, he was pretty much there for the plan, but that was like the last straw. He was like, okay, screw it. I will.
Or
screw
maybe
it.
I made the right call helping
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah.
So he's like, here you go. And he's like, that's blood money.
Darsex. They're called
Darsex.
Darsex. Yeah.
I'm interested if I feel like Darsex has been mentioned before somewhere.
It
Yeah, I
has.
think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Darsek?
Anyway, so they leave, and then ultimately they say, yeah, we're being hailed by the Tellarite on Enterprise. They say we're being hailed by the Tellarite shuttle. So I guess they let them in on the plan. He lets them in on the plan, and then we see like he's able to get the lockpick out of his handcuffs here with his teeth.
So according to Memory Alpha, Darsek is a unit of currency used by the Klingon Empire.
So that's their money. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The Darsek. Yeah, he's able to take out this device that he puts on the door, and then he's able to get out of the room, the cell. They gave him they were like, let's give Archer some real Kirk-like action in this episode. He's fighting Klingons, he's kicking, he's punching, he's doing rolls, he's shooting back.
This is
in
how
a way,
you can tell this is not military because
Yeah,
Archer is not hand to hand with a Klingon
well,
in any fucking way.
I think this is also kind of their send off because the next episode starts the Xindi arc, and then they pretty much have already season 3 already written at this point. So they're changing focus of the show because the show for the first 2 seasons was what we've just seen, but now it gets way more serialized and way more like
action focused.
action focused. Yeah. So I'm wondering if this is kind of their quirky way of kind of ending that part of the series and then starting kind of a reboot kind of thing.
Yeah. Like
So.
one part here, he's running down the hall. He does a barrel roll. He shoots both of these guys.
Go barrel roll.
Shoots one. They shoot at him. They miss. He shoots both of them. I don't.
That's some Kirk-like luck right there.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they're trying to like turn Bakula into an action star here, and maybe successfully. Yeah, he's shooting back. They're like, where are you gonna go, human? Ha ha ha.
I feel like
You
they
know?
just could trade shots there forever.
Yeah.
You hide,
Yeah.
I hide. You hide, I hide.
Yeah. And then I'll run across this hallway and I'll shoot this door, and then he hops into the escape pod. Basically, this is his whole plan here. All worked out, all because he had that lockpick in the first place, and he ejects the escape pod, which was at warp. They're like, drop out of warp. Come on. So then we get the fight here between this Klingon civilian ship and Enterprise, which I liked. They have their tractor beam on here, but then Cavalry's here and they're shooting at it.
A lot of good
not-
external shots too. I like that in this episode.
Yeah, it was good. Get the grappler out, he says. Let's get the
The
grappler out.
grappler. 'Cause
The good old grappler.
Yeah. Let's get this fight going. They're trading fire back and forth. We see the pod just hanging there. He's like, I don't know. This is Mayweather aiming, and he's able to he grab it right here.
they were like on the run when they did it. They didn't even slow down.
They didn't even
No.
slow down at all. Yeah,
No,
they
just straight out.
boom.
It was a good
Grab
scene.
it.
It was a good good
Good
action.
scene.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's
I would like
funny,
to have
though.
seen Archer inside of it, though.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't think it would. It actually reacted like it would with no gravity.
Right. Yeah, it's a little bit of a jerk.
The grappler is like the dumbest thing that they have in the show.
Well, I remember you guys talked about it for 15 minutes in the first season. How stupid it was.
Yeah.
Well, it's like this thing that like only works in certain situations, and like I don't know. It's
And it requires so many variables to be correct before it can even work. And it's like, like in the middle of battle, like there's no way that grappler would work. Like there's just no way.
yeah, you see like Mayweather doing all the calculations there on the screen.
Like
and,
obviously it's a precursor for a tractor beam. I get that, but it's still like wow.
Well, I'm sure Archer sees a tractor beam and he goes, "Oh my god, I would love one of those."
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like,
well-
oh, we should have made one of those things.
Let's call Forrest.
I bet that thing works way more than ours does.
Yeah, you got to line the ship up, get directly over something.
That looks like the
drop
most
it down.
uncomfortable thing to be laying on.
Yeah. Like her pillows over there. Yeah. So this is where, in the next scene, like basically she's been cured by Phlox here. And he's like, I won't tell anyone you tried to.
Did I say
completely-"
anything inappropriate or do anything inappropriate? No.
Oh, did we do it? I think she even asked that. Did we do
Yeah,
it?
she
You know,
does, and he doesn't say no, which is
true.
weird.
Yeah.
It's true. He
So-
doesn't actually say no.
Yeah. And he's like, don't worry, the secret's safe with me. And I don't know. Like, that's that. So Archer comes up here looking a little disheveled. Is the Enterprise a military? Not really. Thanks.
No.
Sort of.
The Makos, however, are. And we'll see those shortly.
Well, I feel like in the way that like NASA's not really the military either, but it kind of has military officers in it. And
It's run like the military, but it's not. Its focus isn't for protection; it's for
and
exploration.
for warfare. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not yet, but eventually it kind of becomes that. Like Starfleet is the closest thing to a military the Federation
Archer
has.
is not related to Kirk in any way.
Not that we know of. No.
Yeah, it's going that way, as we move into season 3.
Yeah, I think that season 3 is an important arc because it kind of shows that they can't just be pure explorers. That they have
No, they have to have a military stance.
No,
Yeah.
that's the thing is that I think Archer has lost his innocence now, like, especially after next week's episode.
Yeah, next week's episode is where like the shit hits the fan.
Like he's already disillusioned. Like he's already met so many bad guys now.
Yeah, he's like, wait, almost everybody wants to kill me out here. Like this
Like,
is just a happy fun
I just wanted
time
to show
thought this was
people
gonna
my
be.
ship.
Yeah,
I just wanted everybody to see my dad's engine work.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
all.
yeah. Well, you
And all
got
they do is they shoot at me and then abduct me every 6th episode.
All I wanted to do was see new shit and meet new friends, and everybody fucking hates me.
Everybody shoots at me. I got bounties on my head. This is garbage.
yeah. Is this the season finale? No, the next
No.
one's the season finale, right?
Next one is the
It's a good season finale.
it's a whole other show once the next season shows up. It's crazy, but
Yeah,
anyway,
but-
there's our end.
Yeah, and then like he's like, hey, the Klingons are gonna double the bounty on you here at the end. He was like, are you gonna collect on? He's like, no promises. See it.
No promises.
Yeah, I like it. I like.
You
that.
forgot to mention though, he gave him the little tool that he escaped with, though.
Yes,
So-
he's like, do you
yeah,
think the Klingons knew I gave it to you? He's like, no, why would they know? So, yeah, it was good. It was a good little thing. They both get what they want here, and it was a cool introduction to the Tellarites. But I think, like, this was their last chance to do this before the Xindi arc, right? So,
Yeah, the Xindi arc is a whole other thing. Like it's crazy.
who's got
I'm
the fun
actually
fact?
excited because this is like my favorite part of the series is coming up. I love
Yeah.
the Xindi.
It was-
the
it
Xindi
was
is
for
such
me.
a great idea.
On the first viewing, like the season 3 was my favorite story because it was like a serialized story. I was like, oh, it's closer back to Deep Space Nine.
Yes, it's
Um,
very Deep Space Nine.
And I liked that part that they were trying to do because these first 2 seasons feel a lot like Voyager's early seasons.
Very Voyager. Yeah, I
You know?
agree.
So
Actually, that's a very good comparison. They're
It is. Yeah.
thinking everybody's going to like them, and
Well, like next week's episode, I won't spoil too much of it, but next week's episode, essentially, it's an about face. They have to go back now. Like they're not allowed to continue. They got to come back now. So,
Mhm.
and I think they spend 3 months to get back or something like that.
Is the next one called The Expanse?
yes,
Okay,
The next one's Expanse, and then the season 3 opener is called the Xindi.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's got the fun facts?
I got them tonight.
Woo! Fun
Alright.
facts with Adam.
Alright. Thank you, Jody.
Hey, whatever
Okay,
I can
so
do.
I always like the backstory, guys, and the selection of this episode's antagonist came early in the writing installment, where Brandon Braga recalled, "We sat down early to develop the episode. We thought, why not make it a Tellarite bounty hunter? Why do the Klingons again?" But they somehow brought the Klingons in.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Robert O'Reilly is best known for his role as Gowron in Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Jordan Lennon. So he was in this episode.
Who was he?
You didn't recognize the voice?
What? You didn't know who he
He's
was?
the other bounty hunter.
That's Robert O'Reilly.
Yes.
Oh my God. He's on. I totally didn't. I was like, he's so not Gowron in that role.
Yeah, you don't see his eyes. That's the problem.
But the voice is distinctive.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't.
I can't believe you didn't know who that was. That's
I knew he was going to be in the episode, but when he spoke, I wasn't like, oh, that's Gowron or that's Robert O'Reilly.
he didn't have the long drawn things that Gowron does, but you could definitely tell it's him. Like just the voice itself, he's got that kind of rasp voice to him.
Glory awaits you on Cardassia.
Not that raspy, but it's there.
Yep. So this is the first appearance of the Tellarite's new makeup, revised makeup, since Star Trek IV and Voyage Home, discounting some stock footage. The interior of Scalar's shuttle was a redress of the Class 2 shuttle from Voyager.
Class 2, okay.
Yep. And the Tellarite station visited by the bounty hunters, Scalar and Archer, was a reuse of the Cardassian repair facility CGI model from Deep Space Nine. We
could have just waited for fun facts.
True.
I ruined that one.
We had a pressing question at the time.
Yeah. And a Decur type Vulcan ship can be docked at the station with its warp ring in a horizontal position. This is the only time we see the ship in this type of configuration. And this is the last episode of the original direction of the series, occurring just before the Xindi attack on Earth. Ooh, geez, I spoiled.
Spoilers.
As depicted in The Expanse, the premise of the Enterprise being a ship of exploration was scrapped in favor of the Xindi arc, which starts now in season 3.
Yep.
Right. Which I thought was, we'll talk more as that arc unfolds, but I think it was
important. We're going to have a lot to talk about next week. I can tell you that.
But the episodic, is pretty much gone now. Captain Archer ejects a escape pod off the Klingon vessel, disproving T'Pol's previous claim that the Klingon vessels do not have escape pods and sleeping dogs. This is where I think, again, this is a civilian ship. I mean,
we also don't know if it's a Klingon ship.
Yeah, or a stolen ship.
Yeah, it looks Klingon on the inside, but yeah, it could be whatever.
Yeah, I think that you could be easily say.
I think they just uploaded new firmware and they're good to go.
Right. Or T'Pol doesn't know what their escape pod policy is.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. What makes her,
expert
specialist in this?
And sadly, this episode features the last on-screen usage of the decontamination gel in the series.
Aww.
Though it's mentioned sometimes in subsequent episodes.
Yeah. At least we don't have to see people waxing up each other constantly now.
I like those episodes.
There you go.
The high point for me in the show. I mean,
they were going for some sexiness. It's the early 2000s, guys. Let's get to ratings. Jody, do you have a score in mind?
All right. You know what? Walking into this, it was going to be a 6. Okay. But now that I've been talking to you guys, I'm going to upgrade that to a 7.5.
All right. Adam?
8 for me.
8 for Adam. I'll go 8. 7?
I'm gonna do 7.5.
Okay.
You guys have convinced me that I was looking at this wrong.
It's perfectly fine, this episode. So it's a good one.
It's a nice placeholder to move into next week. Put it that way.
It was good because it was like you had the serious story and the more funny story, and they balanced that well.
Yeah, that worked out well. So the collective rating tonight, 7.8. This has a lower score on IMDb at 6.9 for whatever reason. And directed, of course, by Belana Torres herself.
Indeed.
And Dawson. But next episode, The Expanse.
It is The Expanse. After a devastating attack on Earth by an alien probe of unknown origin. Well, we kind of already spoiled that. Enterprise is recalled and sent to a strange expanse in a new, more vital mission.
So this is before the actual attack.
No, the attack is literally the cold open.
Let's save that, guys, because
it's
all
there's a lot there, but the attack happens.
And they attack Mar-a-Lago, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Well, technically, yeah. Well, it's
no, actually, they don't.
Just keep in mind, I've never seen this show.
All right.
Yeah, we don't.
As you're talking,
we don't want to go too much into it. But,
all right.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, Kevin, and say you're going to really like this episode.
Yeah, I think you will too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Zindi were so interesting. To be
The Zindi is probably, in my opinion, one of the most interesting alien species in all of Star Trek universe. It's neat how they've made them, and I like the fact that there are different versions of them, which is another thing that was kind of nice, a little bit more refreshing.
Yes, absolutely.
But speaking of refreshing, Dave, you know what's also refreshing? All the different content that we have on this channel.
Absolutely. Here on Live Long and Podcast, we like to call it, if you didn't know. A great team of podcasters talk about all kinds of different Star Trek shows, including our locutors of locutors of Trek podcast division, which I was on with last night. I was debating with Dave Pugsley and Galrod, son of Gowron, doing the Geek Tall Challenge, Klingon trivia. It was spelling. It was identify the Klingons. It was tests of honor. It was very intense.
That must have been a hard one for you, Dave.
It was not easy. It was the second time we've done such a thing.
And Dave Pugsley, he's a very smart guy and very deep.
Yeah.
Very smart. And so we had some debates. We had some battles. That was a lot of fun. Check that one out last night. Of course, our Enterprise one that we do here, the shows, of course, Deep Space Nine. We're continuing our journey to watch all those episodes. Sorry, Kevin, do you remember what got on tomorrow night for Deep Space Nine?
Magnificent.
The Magnificent Ferengis tomorrow. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, that's a good episode. I like that one.
I love that episode.
Yeah, with Kevon, and
that might be one of the best Ferengi episodes.
Yeah, Jeff's gonna hate it. I love it.
Is that the one with Iggy Pop too? Isn't he the other?
I think you might be right.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, Iggy Pop's in it. It's gonna be great. So we're talking about that tomorrow. The Magnificent Ferengi. Also, this Thursday we'll be talking about the next episode of Star Trek Prodigy that's coming out. I know a lot of people haven't seen it yet, but I really recommend it. It's really cool.
I haven't seen the whole series yet.
Yeah, Ghost in the Machine is the next episode. We'll be on Thursday. I'll be on with Jessica Chan and Davin Skelborn talking about that one, 8:30 Eastern, and Star Trek Radio Theater, guys, coming up on. We're doing the next recording on December 16th, The Final Frontier. Jody's playing God. Adam's playing Spock.
Naturally.
Kevin's playing Captain Claw, as well as
I'm excited.
John.
I need a starship, Dave.
What does God need with a starship?
I need a starship.
I need a star. I need like when I think of God,
Jody, you get to do that like moan scream thing that he does.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I gotta do that.
That
almost a whale. So I'm playing McCoy in
Dave's
this one.
gonna hate that recording. I can tell you that.
Well, we'll give it a few shots. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So check out the live recording, the edited version to follow for our finale of season 3 of Star Trek Radio Theater, and I think that's it.
Oh, but there's a very pressing question about this. Will it feature Kevin's bum? Newsflash.
No. It's always the feature.
Yeah, it's always the feature. Just ask his wife.
Yes, absolutely. Also, did you know that and we got Chris Murphy playing Kirk. He's gonna love that mountain. Go climb that El Capitan. We're singing row your boat.
Row your boat.
Jessica's Uhura.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Actually, Kevin, we may Adam, we might need to pre-record our row your boat, or we might need to practice it or something. Murphy, I know you're listening too, so we're gonna have to figure out the row your boat by next week, but we got some time to figure that one out. Also, guys, we're part of the United Federation of Podcasts, which is a great network of podcasts featuring many of the Live Long and podcasters and others, including there's the X-Rated podcast. That's with Davin and Andre. That's Tuesdays. They talk about X-Men, the animated series. They're now into the 3rd season there. There is the Hold Up podcast. That's on Wednesdays with Murphy and Davin. They talk about
still waiting for my invite on that one.
Oh, I'm sure they'll get you in there soon. I'm going to be coming back for the politics episode eventually, but I was on for the dystopia one. They just did was it health? Was it environmentalism? I think they did recently. Medicine. They talk about Medicine Man with Sean Connery. Anyway, it's 2 movies from like the 20th
Great
century,
movie. I love that.
and Murphy picks 1 movie from the 21st century, and they try to figure out, do they hold up?
Yeah, I like the concept of that. Actually, it's a really cool show.
Yeah, it just forcing you to watch 3 movies and talk about them was a fun thing to do. And then the Graphics History Podcast, that's an audio podcast with Andre Mayette, where they talk about the history of graphic novels and comic books. Also, Super Mater Brothers Podcasting. Oh, am I on the wrong? Oh, is it here? Yeah.
We are brothers!
Right
You're
now,
gonna need to work on that delivery.
I'm working on it. Right now we're covering Survivor season 43. We got 2 episodes left this Wednesday and next Wednesday for the Survivor podcasts. Possibly a Gilligan's Island podcast, depending on the outcome of Survivor.
This is the closest you've ever got to committing to that. Oh my god,
that is pretty close.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the Super Mario Brothers podcasting. We'll be talking about Big Brother Canada in the new year. The Hellbound podcast with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn, a Wednesday horror themed audio podcast where they talk about different horror movies and shows and different things like that. Jessica Chan also over there too, and also Trivial Debates, guys. Did you know? Well, we had our last music edition that was with Davin and Eamon Mater and Jaemeel and your
kid trash talking me.
He was trash talking you, saying Jody does no music.
Trash talking me.
So there's going to be a rematch, Jody versus Eamon in the near future. But first, guys, before we get to that, our Christmas edition coming up on Saturday, December 7th.
The new card. That's nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thanks to Chris Murphy for that. Where I'm going to be hosting, and we got Davin, Max, and Sterling competing.
One of these days, we're not going to have a picture of Max that looks stupid.
Yeah.
And apparently, I don't know if it's my monitor, but Sterling looks like a pirate.
Well, yes, he's a down under mate.
That is not your monitor.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's he's coming from Australia, or he'll be podcasting from Australia in Sterling's case. Davin in Nova Scotia, and Max and I here in Ontario. So that should be a fun one. Hopefully it all works around as we have every corner of the globe going at once. And then let's talk about fighting games. Lastly, Eamon Mater, also known as Sam Jerka, with Super Smash Bros. Seth and Paranoia. Davin looks high in the picture.
Davin looks high all the time.
Well, yes, I do. When is he not? Is the better question. Oh, and I forgot about Davin's other podcast, the KBBBL of the Simpsons podcast.
B is for BYOBB.
Yeah, on Fridays, the Simpsons podcast with Baker and Francis, I think.
Even in Simpsons form, he looks high.
Yes.
But he looks like a mean high guy. Like he's like, where's my stuff?
Yeah. He's going,
Did you hide my stuff?
There are 2 Simpsons in. They just talked about Bart the Genius most recently, the second episode of The Simpsons. It's been cool.
Going through every episode, are they?
Yeah, they're gonna go in order.
I'll be dead by the time they do finish that.
They're not going to season 35 or whatever. They're probably only gonna.
I hope they stop at 6 or something.
10 tops, I think, is what they're making. They say they'll go.
They're going to go to 35.
Are they doing 1 episode a week, or is they doing? Oh man!
And we thought we had it hard. First we start off this damn Deep Space Nine podcast that's still going after what, still 2.5 years, 3 years?
Yeah, almost 3.
And then we've been doing this one for what, a year?
A year, yeah. It takes about 6 months to do a Star Trek season, the old ones at least.
Yeah, so we're gonna be we're only at our halfway point now, so we got at least another year on this one.
We have about a year left, yeah. And in theory, we have less than a year left on D Space, but we'll see.
Murphy says they're just gonna go until the show sucks. Okay, so season 9 then.
Yes, here we go.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's it for tonight. Thanks to everybody for being on, and thanks Jody and for hosting. And we'll be back for the Expanse. Zindy, we're finally at the Zindy arc, guys.
I can't believe we're finally here, guys.
Can't wait to talk about this next week.
Next week is going to be. We might have to put a little bit of extra time available for that one. So that one's going to run 90 minutes. I'm pretty sure.
And I think we need a quote to go on, but I don't have anything from this episode, so I'm just gonna play.
We should just talk about Kevin's bum again.
No.
Yeah. But instead, I'm going to play a Gowron quote in honor of Robert O'Reilly, who I didn't really realize was in the episode, even though I knew. All right, let's go.
But if you can stand here and murder this pathetic little man, then you have no honor.
Live long and podcast, everyone. See you next time.
That's also